Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, beta. So we are going to continue with the enzymes. Yesterday we had seen about the classification and the properties of enzymes. Now let's see about the enzyme specificity. So enzymes, as I had told you, they are the biocatalyst, or we can say they are the organic catalyst. So they differ from inorganic catalyst in their extraordinary specificity. This extraordinary specificity that will specialize it. Okay. So the first one is the reaction specificity. So enzyme catalyzes only few reactions. This is the first reaction specificity. So for example, arginase catalyze urease on arginase catalase urease. So they will only attack arginine and hydrogen peroxide and urea. So arginase that will attack on arginine, catalase that will attack on hydrogen peroxide, and urease that will attack on urea. So this is the first reaction specificity which we can see. Then most of the enzymes, they can catalyze the same type of reaction. So same type of reaction which we can see here. So for example, phosphate transfer, oxidation reduction. So they will react on the same type which are similar in their structure. Then reaction with the alternate substrate takes place if there are high concentration, and they will depend on particular affinity to that enzyme. So histidase, this is the example of it, which will act on histidine. And if this enzyme that will act on tryptophan also, when it will be present in high concentration. So because they also have an affinity towards that enzyme. Then the substrate that can undergo many reaction, but in a reaction specificity, one enzyme will catalyze only one of the various reactions. For example, in the presence of acetyl coenzyme A, the enzyme citrate synthetase that will act on the catalyze oxaloacetate, and it will convert into citrate. But when only oxaloacetate is present, then another specific enzyme, that is the malate dehydrogenase enzyme, that will be catalyze it, and they will form different products. Okay, so they will form that time they will form the maltase, or malate or malic acid. So this is the first specificity. The second specificity is the optical specificity. So enzymes, they show absolute optical specificity for at least particular portion of the substrate. So maltase catalyze hydrolysis of alpha glycosides, but they will not catalyze beta glycoside. Embden-Meyerhof and the direct oxidative pathway जो होते हैं, so they will catalyze the interconversion of D-phospho sugar, but they will not interconvert L-phospho sugar. So here one exception is there, D-amino acid oxidase in the kidney that will act as a L-amino acid. So this is one exception only. Then glycosidase, which will catalyze the hydrolysis of glycosidic bond between sugar and alcohol. They are highly specific for their sugar portion, but they are relatively non-specific for the alcohol portion, or we can say a glycon. Most of the substrate, they will form 3-bond enzymes. So this 3-point attachment can be asymmetrical or symmetrical. So when enzyme, they will act on the substrate and produces certain isomers. So these isomers, they will be the product of it. जैसे सक्सिनेट डिहाइड्रोजनेज जो है, तो while act on the succinic acid or succinate, तो it will produce fumarate or fumaric acid, and that will not produce malic acid. Okay, so this is the example about the optical specificity. Then the next specificity is the bond specificity. The particular enzyme, they will act on particular chemical bonds. For example, glycosidase, that will act on glycosides. Alcohol dehydrogenase, that will act on alcohol. Trypsin and trypsin, they will act on peptide bond. Esterase, esterase, that will act on ester linkage. So like that. So there will be bond specificity. The next specificity is the group specificity. So particular enzyme, they will act on particular group. For example, chymotrypsin, that will hydrolyze peptide bond. So in peptide bond, carboxyl group is contributed by the aromatic amino acid, means tyrosine, tryptophan, etc. Carboxypeptidase, that will split off carboxyl group. Amino peptidases split off amino group from the polypeptide chain. Then the next specificity is the oxidoreductases. So oxidoreductases, this is the enzyme actually, which function in the biosynthesis process, which will use tend to use NADP as a reducing agent, but they will function in the degradation process, and which will leads to which will use NAD instead of NADPH2. The next, in liver, near about 90% NADP specific enzyme occur. So they are occur extra mitochondrially. But here, NAD specific enzyme of mitochondria, it is activated by ADP. Here, the enzymes which contain particular minerals, so they are जैसे iron containing जो होते हैं, they are the cytochrome oxidase enzymes. Copper containing, they are the feruloplastic uricase. Then potassium contain pyruvate kinase. Manganese contain DNA polymerase or the pyrase superoxidized dismutase. These are the example of it. Then nickel, urease, selenium, glutathione peroxidase, zinc, so carbonic anhydrase, and molybdenum, so xanthine oxidase. These are some examples of the enzymes which contain particular minerals. Okay, metals. Then the next topic is the preparation and isolation of the enzyme. How we can prepare this. So tissues are extracted with the saline or glycerol. So such extraction that will not keep for a longer time. So this extract, they will carefully dried up at low temperature. Then that dry substance, it is then grind with the fine powder. So that will always good. Then this powder that is extracted with suitable solvent, that will mix firstly with suitable solvent. So more active preparations, they are made by various process like purification, in which dialysis is involved to remove the inorganic impurity, or some adsorbents are there. So that time we add adsorption process will be done, and uh, we can remove unwanted things. Then beside this precipitation with suitable reagent, that process is also used. So these all are done in a low temperature. Then here, so whatever we will get, so that will be inactive material. So that inactive material firstly get removed, and the enzyme which is present in the tissue in small amount, that is get separated out. And here near about 100 enzymes they have obtained as a crystalline protein, which are considered as a pure form of enzymes. So this is about the preparation and isolation of enzyme. Do you understood, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's see about the recognition of enzyme. So if by adding some neutral solution to some starch at 37 degrees Celsius, we obtain sugar. So we can conclude that catalyst is present there. That's why it is getting converted into sugar. So if neutral solution after boiling, it will fail to produce the sugar solution under same condition which we had just now seen. So we may then conclude that catalyst is an enzyme and it is not the inorganic catalyst. Okay. So here in the experiment on enzymes, it is necessary to arrange particular control with the boiled enzyme solution along with the test. So this is the recognition of enzyme. Now, the most important point is the factors which will influence the action of enzyme, or the conditions of action of enzyme. So let's see now. The first condition or the first factor is the contact between enzyme and substrate. So enzyme and substrate must be in contact to form the enzyme substrate complex. Enzyme and substrate should be well mixed so that we will get the efficient reaction will take place, and we will get whatever product we want. Even insoluble substrate must be made soluble by the help of hydrotropic substance when required for good mixing. The digestion of fat which are not in solution is greatly facilitated by fine emulsification of fat, which will give a greater area of contact so that the lipase enzyme will act. Enzymes which are not soluble but they are bound on the membrane, so their contact with substrate must be get maintained by setting suitable concentrated gradient. So this is about the first factor, the contact between enzyme and the substrate. Now the second factor, that is the concentration of enzyme and substrate. So the rate of enzyme action, it is influenced by the concentration of substrate, the amount of enzyme and the time. So in case the concentration of substrate is low in comparison to the concentration of enzyme, so here not all the active groups of enzyme molecules will be utilized for formation of enzyme substrate complex, and then the rate of reaction will be low. In case concentration of substrate increases, more and more active sites of enzyme molecule will be used for formation of enzyme substrate complex. So the rate of reaction that will get increased during this time. If the substrate concentration is such that all the active groups of enzyme they are utilized, so that time the rate of reaction will proportional with the substrate concentration. Then if the concentration will be high, the rate of maximum or the rate is maximum and remain constant unless the substrate will inhibit that particular reaction. If the substrate inhibit, the reaction rate will be decline. So the effect of substrate concentration on the initial rate of enzyme reaction, that is shown by the graphical method which is known as Michaelis curve. So it is seen that a low substrate concentration it is very low substrate concentration, the rate increases with the increased substrate concentration. At a substrate concentration above, so the rate of reaction that will become constant at maximum value, and that is called as maximum velocity of the reaction. तो यहाँ पर जो काइनेटिक इक्वेशन होता है उसको माइकेलिस मेंटेन इक्वेशन कहा जाता है, जिसको हम लिखते हैं कि VI that is initial velocity is equal to V max, so maximum velocity of substrate upon Km, that is the kinetic energy plus substrate. तो इस तरह से वो इक्वेशन दिया जाता है. डू यू अंडरस्टूड बेटा?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The third factor है that is the temperature. So temperature again it will influence the action. So whatever action taking place between or we can say reaction taking place between the substrate and the enzyme. So the rise in temperature that will accelerate the enzyme reaction, but at the same time it will cause inactivation of enzyme because of denaturation. Denaturation of protein will take place, and you know enzymes they are made up of proteins. At certain temperature, which we call it as optimum temperature, so at optimum temperature this action will be maximum. So optimum temperature for man it is 37 degrees Celsius, जो हमारा normal temperature considered होता है, and for most of the animal that is 40 degrees Celsius. The optimum temperature of plant urease that is 60 degrees Celsius. Optimum temperature for enzyme from microorganism adapted to the growth in natural hot spring, it is close to the boiling point of water. आप लोगों को ये पता है ना कि कई जगह पर हॉट स्प्रिंग के जो है तो हम लोगों को दिखाई देते हैं जो वाटर बॉडीज हैं, हॉट स्प्रिंग्स हैं नेचुरल, तो वहां पर भी बैक्टीरियाज ग्रो होते हैं. तो वो जो बैक्टीरिया है वो सरवाइव होते हैं उस हॉट स्प्रिंग में, तो वो बॉइलिंग पॉइंट जो है वाटर का जो कि 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस है, तो उसके बराबर जो है इनका ऑप्टिमम टेम्परेचर होता है. तो इफ टेम्परेचर बिकम्स लो, then the rate of enzyme reaction will diminish, and at the temperature 0 degree Celsius most of the enzyme they will become inactive. और इसी वजह से जहाँ पर बहुत ज्यादा ठंड होती है या फिर कुछ एनिमल्स जैसे कि कुछ रेप्टाइल्स वगैरह होते हैं ना, तो विंटर में वो इनएक्टिव हो जाते हैं, उनके बॉडी में जो भी फूड है तो वो वैसे के वैसे स्टोर होता है. So that is due to the as the enzyme will become inactive, so they will not perform metabolic process. Okay. Then the rate of uh, enzyme. So next is temperature coefficient. The rate of enzyme catalyze the reaction that will increase depending upon limited range of temperature, which will leads to increased kinetic energy of that particular molecule. So kinetic energy of enzyme that will increase uh, mm, the energy barrier so that the breaking of hydrogen and the hydrophobic bonds takes place, which will maintain secondary and the tertiary structure of protein. The factors which are responsible for the increase of rate of biological process for 100 degrees Celsius temperature, it will rise to temperature coefficient. The rate of contraction of an heart, excited heart, it is approximately double with the 10-degree rise in the temperature. The change in rate of many of the enzyme catalytic reactions that is accompanied by a rise or the fall in body temperature, which is essential survival feature for all living organisms like lizards. I had told you about it. These reptiles, lizard, that will not maintain the constant temperature because of it. So, if there will be change in the rate of enzyme catalytic reaction that is accompanied by either a rise or fall in the body temperature, so that is very essential for them to survive. Then homeothermic organism like human being. So we can tolerate uh, limited range of body temperature. And if there will be alteration in the reaction, which will leads to change in temperature, so some um, little physiological significance will alter and significance in the fever or hypothermia we can see. तो sometimes our temperature becomes low, हमारा temperature low हो जाता है कई बार जो है तो high होता है, जब high होता है तो fever और low होता है तो hypothermia. So enzyme in case of homeothermic organism like human being, they are able to lower the energy barrier for reaction and they will elevate the local reaction uh, concentration so that our body will maintain temperature. Then the fourth factor, that is the hydrogen ion concentration. So hydrogen ion concentration, it has it influences the action of enzyme. So what is that? So small change in the pH may that will inhibit the enzyme activity. Pepsin, it works only in the acidic medium and it will become inactive by if the medium will be alkaline, means by making the medium alkaline. Then trypsin, it will work in alkaline medium, okay, and it will not digest protein in the acidic medium. Maximum activity of enzyme, it is optimum it will be at optimum pH. So the value of optimum pH is, it is between 5 to 9, means slightly acidic and slightly alkaline. So at optimum pH, enzyme will react with substrate. At low pH, enzyme will be that will lose the negative charge and that will get separate out. At a very high pH, so here substrate will lose its positive charge. So in this way, this reactions takes place. Okay? Then the next factor is the oxidation. So sulfohydryl group of many enzymes, they are essential for the enzyme activity. Oxidation of this sulfohydryl group by many oxidizing agent, they are included in the oxygen of air, and that will form disulfide linkage or bond, and result in the loss of enzyme activity. So full activity may be regained by reduced sulf hydroxyl compound like cysteine or the glutathione. The next is radiation. Enzymes, they are highly sensitive to short wavelength like alpha, beta, gamma rays. Then high energy radiation, they will form peroxide, which will cause oxidation of the enzyme, and it will result in the loss of enzyme activity. Enzyme activity, it will lose by irradiation, which may support indirect effect on the DNA and uh, the DNA, which will be involved in that process. Then the next factor, that is the coenzymes and activators. So enzymes, they will work efficiently in presence of certain substances. So these substances that may be organic or inorganic, and that is known as coenzymes and activators. If that will be organic, then it is called as coenzyme. If it will be inactive, then they are called as um, activators. So in the absence of coenzymes and activators, these enzymes, they will become inactive, or they will become very sluggish in their reaction. So which activators most of probably used? So that is the chloride ion, magnesium ion, calcium ion, manganese ions. Uh, they may take part in the formation of enzyme substrate complex also. Manganese, in the action of some peptidase enzyme, they may prevent the inactivation of enzyme by inhibitors. Some enzymes which are activators, they are called kinases. For example, enterokinase, that convert trypsinogen to trypsin by removing hexapeptide from the trypsinogen. So this is about the coenzyme and activator. The next factor, that is the inhibiting agent. Inhibiting, which will reduce the action. So many enzymes, they inhibit the salts of mercury, silver, gold, and salts of heavy metals or fluorides. So they are inhibiting like this. Oxidases, they are generally inhibited by cyanides. Then some preservatives like chloroform, glycerol, thymol, they will inhibit the action of some enzymes. Toluene, that has no action on enzyme, but it is best preservative for the enzyme solution. Then formaldehyde, it will destroy the enzymes. The inhibitors which are present in the enzyme solution, they will occupy the active sites of enzyme, and which will leave free active site for the substrate to combine. So like that, so many examples we can give here. So which you will see that they inhibit, they will act as an inhibiting agent. So do you understand these factors, Beta? All of you? The last factor which is remain, that is the anti-enzyme. So if some enzymes, they are repeatedly injected into particular animal, to substance which is produced in that animal serum, that can prevent the normal action of enzyme. So this substance that is called as anti-enzyme because it is doing against the enzyme. That's why it is called as anti-enzyme. So example of it is antipepsin, antitrypsin, antirenin, antiureas. These are some examples of it. Then some people, they believe that mucous membrane that contain some anti-enzymes. So they are present in the alimentary canal and that is not digested by secretion. So these all are the factors which are responsible for the action of enzymes. So we had seen 9 factors. Do you understood, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next part from this chapter, that was the coenzymes. So what do you mean by coenzymes? So I had already told you coenzymes. So these are actually heat stable, dialysable organic molecule, and and they are the prosthetic group of enzymes. They are classified on basis of chemical characteristics, on basis of functional characteristic, on basis of nutritional characteristic. So on basis of chemical characteristic, they are divided into containing aromatic heteroring, containing non-aromatic heteroring, and no heteroring. So containing aromatic heteroring, example of it are the ATP and its relatives NAD, NADP, then FMN, TPP, B6PO4. These are the example of it. Okay? Then the coenzymes with non-aromatic heteroring, they are the biotin and the lipoic acid, and no heteroring, the examples of sugar phosphate and the coenzyme quinone. Then based on the functional characteristic, they are categorized into 2 groups. Groups transferring coenzyme, hydrogen transferring coenzyme. Group transferring coenzyme, ATP and its relative, sugar phosphate, thymine pyrophosphate, coenzyme A, pyridoxal phosphate, then biotin. These are the example of it. And what about the hydrogen transferring coenzyme? So they are the NAD and NADP. Then FAD and FMN. These are also example of it and the coenzyme PIN. Then based on nutritional characteristic, the uh, vitamin B containing nutritional character, they are the coenzyme A. Then TPP, that is the thymine pyrophosphate. Then NAD and NADP, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Then B6 phosphate, that is pyridoxal phosphate. Then FMN, that is flavin mononucleotide. And then FAD, flavin adeno nucleotide. Then folic acid coenzymes, B12 coenzymes, biotin. These are the examples of them. Then what are the functions of these coenzymes? So their function that is usually accept the atoms or the group from the substrate and transfer them to the other molecule. They are less specific than the enzymes and the same coenzyme that can act a number of different reactions. So the coenzyme, they are also attached to the protein at different but the adjacent site so as to be the position to accept the atoms or the groups of atom which are removed from the substrate. NAD and NADP coenzymes, they will act as a hydrogen receptor in dehydrogenase reactions. तो ये जो है ये कोएंजाइम्स जो है इनके फंक्शन से इसके अलावा जो है तो the coenzyme A that carry acetyl group and they are used in the oxidative decarboxylation reaction of the pyruvic acid and synthesis of fatty acids and acetylation. Then function of TPP is it carry aldehyde group The chief function of P6PO4, that is pyridoxal phosphate, is the transamination reaction. Chief function of tetrahydrophobic folic acid, it is as a carrier of format, and it is used in the synthesis of purines and pyrimidines. So this is all about the functions of enzymes, coenzymes. Then we had seen about the isoenzyme. What do you mean by isoenzyme or isozyme? So what is that? So enzymes that occur in a number of different forms, and they differ with each other chemically or immunologically or electrophoretically. They are called as isoenzymes or the isozymes. So where they are present, they may be present in the serum or the tissues of mammals or in the amphibians, birds, insects, plants. It is also present in the unicellular organs. There are isozymes of numerous dehydrogenases and several oxidases, transaminases, phosphatase, transphosphorylases, proteolytic enzymes, aldoses. These are the examples of it. So, what are the characteristic of it? So they catalyze the same reaction, but they can be distinguished by physical method like electrophoresis or by immunological method. Then the difference between some isozymes, that is due to the difference in their quaternary structure of the enzyme. Then isozymic forms of lactate dehydrogenase, they are tetramer. So each is made up of two types of H and M. So here molecular weight of that active lactate dehydrogenase is 1,30,000, and only tetrameric molecule, it possesses catalytic activity. Then the fourth characteristic is splitting and reconstruction of lactate dehydrogenase. So here on splitting or reconstructing, it will produce new isozymes, and therefore each will contain single subunits. But when mixture of purified lactate dehydrogenase and the lactate dehydrogenase, that will subjected to the splitting and recognition, to lactate dehydrogenase I, I2, I3, I4, like that, the production will take place. So this is the fifth characteristic. Then lactate dehydrogenase, that will catalyze the transfer of two electrons and one hydrogen ion from the lactate to NAD. Sixth characteristic is medical discovery in 1957. It shows the relative proportion of several lactate dehydrogenase isoenzyme of human serum, which get changed significantly in the pathogenic condition. Okay, so what is the diagnostic importance of this? So in certain solid tumors, there will be increase in the serum of lactodehydrogenase 1 and the lactate dehydrogenase 2. So these isoenzymes, they are present in the blood of the patient with the acute leukemia, that is blood cancer. Then lactate dehydrogenase 5, it is usually predominant isozyme in tumor. Serum isozyme level that elevate in the acute leukemia. Alkaline phosphatase isozymes, they can distinguish in the liver lesions from the bone lesions in metastatic carcinoma. So these are the diagnostic importance. Okay, do you understood better? The last topic, which is present in the enzyme, that is the mechanism of enzyme action. So Fischer in 1894, he was firstly proposed enzyme. It is the key which fits in the lock and the action takes place like a lock and key manner. So in 1913, Michaelis and the mentor, they had proposes the enzyme combined with the substrate, and that will form enzyme substrate complex, and this complex finally gives rise to the reaction product and the enzyme that will become free after that. So during this complex formation, the substrate molecule that will attach to the specific group on enzyme molecule, and these specific group, they are called as active group. The region on which these active groups are present, that site is called as active site. The active group, they are sulfohydryl group of cysteine and phenolic group of tyrosine, alcoholic group of serine, which is present in the trypsin and the chymotrypsin, and the imidazole group of histidine. In 1963, Kochland proposed the induced fit mechanism for the mode of this enzyme action. So according to him, substrate fit the active site effectively by inducing configuration, configurational changes in the enzyme, and because of it, the complexes are formed by multiple bonding, maybe covalent bond, maybe hydrogen bond, maybe electrostatic bond, and the functional group of that active site, they are arranged in a definite spatial configuration, and for which either D or L isomers of the substance can be act as a substrate for that enzyme. Do you understood, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is all about the enzymes. I think that I have revised everything. So shall I stop now? Let me take your attendance. Okay, do you have any problem? Any doubt? I have taken revised portion of this, so I I think now you are satisfied with this advanced chemistry. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so prepare for your exam, beta. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
have you
Yes.
made the PPTs?
मैम अमाइनो एसिड का आप भेजने वाले थे वो भेजा ही नहीं आपने।
क्या रे बेटा?
मैं आपको बोल रहे थे कि क्लियर नहीं है पिक्चर्स अमाइनो एसिड की क्लासिफिकेशन की, तो आप भेजने वाले थे।
ठीक है ना, मैं देख। ठीक है बेटा।
ओके मैम।
I am sending just now.
Thank you, ma'am.
योग्य दृष्टिकोनातून मी